Hey everybody, it's Jay from Fab Fit Over 40, and I'm back with my fourth video in day 4 on my 30 videos in 30 series. And today I wanted to answer some questions from a reader. He has a couple of questions, so I'll try to tie them all in together. But the first question is, and it's actually a really good question, is what to do if you have low back disc problems to build up a really solid set of legs, as they would say in the physique or bodybuilding world, a really awesome pair of wheels. So it's a great question. His question is more along the lines that he had spinal problems in his teenage years, and now he's in his early 20s, and he's asking, like, what can I do? I can't squat. I can't do anything that really puts a lot of pressure on my spine, or I can't really have any spinal compression. I guess the easiest way for me to answer that question is, and again, I don't know this person personally, and I've never trained with him, so I don't really know his lack of mobility or his range of motion or anything like that. But my first question would be, are you sure you really can't, your low back can't handle spinal compression? Are you sure you can't really squat? Or is it more just a psychological issue or component for you because your doctor or your medical professional told you that you need to stay away from that stuff? And the reason I say that is because when I was 21 or 22 years old, I was diagnosed with compressed vertebrae. I played basketball at a very high level in college, and after I got out of college, both what would you call it, professionally and pro-am. And so I played at a very high level, and I actually suffered a really serious fall in a game, and I landed on my low back, and I actually was knocked out. I didn't land on my low back, I landed like sideways vertically, and I was knocked out, and I went to the hospital and was in an ambulance and whatnot, and I suffered a second-degree concussion, and then I also was diagnosed as having compressed vertebrae. And of course, the doctor panicked me and told me, oh, this is going to affect you the rest of your life, and you're going to have issues and blah, blah, blah. Well, again, I'm here to tell you that a diagnosis in your early 20s that's a low back malady or issue is not something that you should concern yourself with from a standpoint of, like, by the time you're 30 or 40, you can't rehab yourself or rehabilitate yourself. And I'm living proof that you can. So that's my first answer. My first answer is, are you really, really sure you can't handle any spinal compression? Are you sure that you can't start really low? The whole Fab Fit Over 40 theory of go slow, go low, go slow with squatting, and, work your way up. Strengthen your lower back, strengthen your posterior chain, strengthen, your core to the point where you can handle that stuff. Because I do believe that a lot of people psychologically feel that they can't train their lower back, or they can't, stress their lower spine with compressionary shearing forces from squatting or leg press. So first, investigate whether or not you really are incapable of doing these movements. As Dr. Brett Osborne is very fond of saying, a lot of people with low back injuries or low back issues can still deadlift. You just have to, again, you have to strengthen the posterior chain, you have to strengthen your core, and you have to start really, really low and work your way up, okay? So don't just completely rule out the possibility that you can't do anything that causes shearing force or compression on your spine, okay? Now, that said, for anybody who seriously does have an injury, and again, I won't get into the extent or the depth of the injury, but if you have an injury that does affect your mobility and you cannot squat, you cannot do any leg presses, you cannot put your lower back in any kind of vulnerable position, the answer would then be you got to do extensions. You're going to have to do hamstring curls. You're going to have to do movements that essentially work around the injury. I think I'll give credit to Jim Brown, our mobility expert in the SOAR team. And one rule is, if it hurts, don't do it. It can't be more simple than that. This whole nonsense of train through pain, no gain, that's all a bunch of bullshit. If you have an injury and you're limited in your performance or your range of motion, your ROM, or your mobility is affected, well, listen, guys, don't fucking do it, okay? It's that simple. You can't train or do something that affects your body from an injury standpoint or causes actually acute pain because you're psychologically just not going to be motivated to do it, and ultimately you can injure yourself further. So it's just nonsense. Don't train if it causes pain, okay? So, but back to your question again, you're going to have to just work around the injury, bro. So, that means leg extensions, do a lot of rest pause, do eccentrics, focus on the eccentric, do whatever you can, but, you can continue to work on it. But my first answer is back to, my best answer, which is don't give up. Work on strengthening your core, work on, strengthening the area that's injured, with other muscles. Make sure you're seeing a good active release technician or a rolfer or somebody who can work on the area and break up any scar tissue that you might have, because that does work. So that's my answer. Just don't give up. And if you honestly are one of those people that absolutely positively, let's say you're an older person, again, you're somebody different than this person, but you suffer from the same injuries. Again, just work around it. Don't train or do something that's going to cause massive injury massive pain or further injury. So your other question is, let me get back to it. I think you're a younger guy. So he says, I check my testosterone levels because I recognize that my friends do a little bodybuilding and gain a lot faster than me. I'm 580 nanograms per deciliter, even though I'm just 22 years old. I have 12% body fat. I'm 180 pounds and 5'10", and I've trained for several years in the gym. Is my testosterone level too high for TRT, risk and benefits, and am I too young, or is trying TRT worth it, in your opinion? The meta question behind my individual question is more like, which testosterone level at which age qualifies for TRT? So again, he's a guy from Berlin, Germany. I've answered this question many times, but I'll be happy to answer it again here. It's also written about extensively in the book that's upcoming, the Testosterone Replacement Therapy Manual. If you're 22 years old and your testosterone levels are over 500 and you're in reasonably good shape, good health, and you have no issues, like you don't have any thyroid disorders or wasting syndrome, or you don't have any other issues that's causing you to be sexually dysfunctional, unable to get an erection, then you absolutely positively are not a candidate for TRT. Secondarily, there's no real legitimate physicians anywhere in the world, both internationally or in North America, that could reasonably prescribe you TRT at that level without any other kind of health problem. So no, it's not even a consideration. That's your answer. Work on maximizing your natural production of testosterone. Again, read the blog, go to the TRT resources pages, click on the TRT diet article that I wrote last summer. Heavily indexed, lots of great information and intel in there on how to raise your testosterone naturally. But that's what your focus should be. Your focus should be on maximizing your diet, eliminating any stressor causes in your life that may or may not be reducing or lowering your testosterone. At 580, at 22 years old, you're not at like the optimal range, but you're not in a low range at all either. So very, very easily you can do things like alpha male posture exercises that Mike at Danger and Play writes about. You can definitely increase your essential fatty acid intake. You can increase your fats like butter and walnuts and almonds and peanut butter and stuff like that, which will increase arachidonic acid formation, which can ultimately lead to an increased testosterone production. And then there's just a bunch of other things that you can do by just cleaning up your diet, minimizing your alcohol consumption, minimizing your sugar consumption, and of course, ultimately or optimally, having reduced body fat. You can't have high body fat and expect to naturally increase your testosterone. So there's your answer. Work on improving your natural testosterone levels, cleaning up your lifestyle, eliminating any stressor causes that may or may not be reducing your natural testosterone production. But again, at 22 years old, without any kind of wasting disease or any kind of like actually clinical diagnosis of low testosterone symptoms, no, you're not a candidate for TRT. So anyway, guys, again, I appreciate you sending me emails and questions. I'll answer a bunch more. I've got a bunch of questions that have been sent out to me. I'll do my best to answer another one. And like I said, keep up the 30 days going in a row. Once again, if you have a question, leave it below, even in the comments here or anywhere. You can always reach out to me at j@fabfitover40.com and send me the message that way. So I look forward to helping you guys. And again, have a great day.